had your own challenges as well. You were diagnosed with ADHD at an early age. Yeah. Just tell us about how you coached yourself through all of that.
So I might not give you the answer that necessarily you would want, but so when I was 8 or 9, I think my parents, like all parents, wanted their children to do the best they could do. All my school reports always said, James was intelligent but couldn't concentrate, could be disruptive, needed more. And my parents tried everything, I think, to get the best out of me. I was very lucky. I came from a privileged background in regards to money. It wasn't a lot of it, but they spent it on my brother and I to really give us the opportunities. And I think that's why you send kids to school. It's not necessarily for them to come out with degrees. It's for them to come out, to be able to hold conversations, to have opportunities, to find something that sticks. Because all you want as a parent is for your kid to be happy and for them to find something they love to do. That's basically all you want. And for them not to get into trouble and to sort of learn some values. And they took me to a therapist, a psychologist, and I did 2 or 3 sessions with them, and she diagnosed me with having ADD, right? And I've never met anybody who'd had that, never heard of it. Now we're tripping over people with ADHD, and it's a very lazy diagnosis. It's a diagnosis that comes off TikTok for most of the time. People, I think, where we've got to society now is we're talking a lot more about mental health and a lot more about we're reasoning away people's behaviour and diagnosing and labelling, which is fine, but for me that's only the first start of it. If you just walk around going, I've got ADHD, and you go, right, what are you doing about it? Nothing. Well, shut up. I've got depression, what are you doing about it? Nothing. But it's not a crutch, it's not a handicap, and I never talked about it, never spoke about it, never talked to anybody about it. They put me on, I took Ritalin to the age of 16. I think it worked. I don't recall what necessarily, that I was a zombie or anything else like that, but it taught me to concentrate and to learn. And then I had to stop taking it because it was a performance enhancing drug. So they said, listen, you're going to play for England, what are you taking? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, we can't play this game because it's in your system. Yeah. And I never spoke to her. And that was when I was 17. And then fast forward, till the last 5, 6, 7 years, everyone's got it. From adults to people to kids. And it's an excuse that people hide behind it and they're fearful of it. The honest answer is it's never held me back in any way, shape or form. I've never used it as an excuse. It's a superpower as far as I'm concerned to allow me to do, to write 8 books, to do podcasts, to DJ, to make music, to travel, to do stand-up, to be a dad, I'm able to juggle all those things. Yeah. I find it something really important, and I've done therapy since the age of 17. I took medication. I've always tried to work on things, because the thing with mental health, and I know it's a real watchword with kids and people, is if you're not doing anything about mental health, it's never going to change. Diagnosis, as I said, is step 1. To get over mental health issues that you have, if you have ADHD or actually have ADHD or depression or anxiety or whatever these things are, not just buzzwords, or not because you're having a bad day and you feel a bit down, or because you're a bit worried about going into a room or going back to school, doesn't mean you've got anxiety. It means you've got a normal set of human emotions, which we all have. And I think people are very much now hiding behind what we should normally experience. Like when you turn on the TV, there are programs you shouldn't like. There are things that you should read that you don't want. Every library will have a book that's liable to offend. We're not meant to sanitize ourselves, not to have these normal human emotions. And I think that if you actually put work into it, mental health is about developing tools to mean that when you have an episode, for example, what might have taken you 2 weeks, 3 weeks to get over it, takes you an hour, takes you 10 minutes, takes you 5 minutes.
More resilient.
More resilient. But you revisit it every day, and you go over it every day, and you work on it every day. And my godfather's wife was a therapist. My godfather kept saying, oh, you should go and see her, great for sport, for performance. And I was typical archetypal male, didn't believe there's anything wrong with me, didn't need to talk to anyone about anything. Went in and went to see her about consistently performing through a season. Because our seasons at times are 30, 40 games a season long. You can do a game on emotion, you can do a presentation on emotion, you can do anything on emotion. You can't do 30 games on emotion because you're feeling tired, you're feeling injured, you might be out of form, teammates aren't be playing well. So you have to learn to find some consistency in that, and that's what we started off. And as I went through the process with her, I discovered that I probably had a couple of blind spots around self-confidence and other things that I wasn't really addressing, and I didn't like criticism, and lots of things that I probably wasn't working on. And we worked on them every day, and I even use it now. If, say, I came out here and someone had said something or didn't go well or whatever, I'd go back to the things that I'd learned, and it would get me back on track. Whereas if I did a DJ set when I first started, if it went badly or I didn't do a good mix, I'd take that quite seriously. It'd wear on me quite hard. And you know, now I would go and do the analysis of it and go, right, what am I doing to help myself be a better DJ? If the answer is I'm practicing, I'm speaking to other DJs, I'm making music, I'm doing courses, I'm looking for feedback, I'm posting on socials. If I'm doing all of that, then I've probably got something to be upset about. If the answer to any of those things is I'm not doing enough of it, then it's not anyone else's fault, it's my fault. And so I go back, I work on it, and I get back on track. And I think that's really powerful, that you've got to go and understand that's what mental health is. And I think now we've got ourselves caught up so much with the labelling bits and pieces. And I think sport is a very good example of that, because in real life, you know, how do you gauge whether you're successful? Is it your relationship? Is it your car? Is it your house? Is it the size of your salary? In sports, as I said to you earlier, if you have to perform, you've got to perform every single week. And there's no hiding place, there's accountability, in the media, in fans, with your teammates, with your own personal view. And my dad taught me a very, very valuable lesson. You can lie to everyone else, but you can't lie to yourself. And we live in a world now of lies in regards to social media. You know, I can take a photo next to a Lamborghini, say it's mine. I can photo these amazing meals and food, but only I know whether that's true or not, or whether I am putting the work in, whether I am successful. And there's that real honest moment that I think before you go to bed, when you put your phone down, switch it off, just close your eyes, go to sleep, everything comes flooding back. Everything sits there, and you know if you're doing a diet and training plan, if you're telling your trainer or telling your people you're eating well, you know you're not. Yeah. If you drink too much, you know. If you're doing other things you shouldn't be doing, you know. If your relationship's not great and you're telling everyone that you're looking after it and you're pretending your partner that you're trying your best, only you know if you're not. And I think at school, you know, when you don't do well in an exam, you know whether you do well in the work. You can tell your parents anything you want. You can tell other teachers anything you want. You know whether you put the work in or not. And I think there's that real honesty at the moment where it's lacking a little bit. And I think I check in with myself all the time to go, look, I stand in front of kids and adults and I talk about certain things I'm doing. The other day I was like, you know what, I hadn't had any therapy for a while. I hadn't sat down and spoken to someone, called my therapist. I sat down, did a call, checked in, and went, listen, I'm getting divorced. My father passed away, I'm in the media, I've got this stuff, got all these things going on. What am I working on? Went and readdressed a few things, got a few more tools, went away and worked on it. And that for me is the recipe for success in life, you know.
I want to talk to you about coaches and